Hi everyone! I'm back for day 2.
It's Kevin.
Woo! Are you excited?
Hosted by me, Jeannie.
Yes.
And we are so excited to be back for day 2 out of our 3 days of live UX design with Kevin Lee. Kevin, do you want to give a short intro again for our new viewers?
So my name is Kevin Lee, and I am a UI UX designer based in Southern California. And I love to, include diversity and inclusion in design, which is why we're celebrating World Interaction Day. Hey, hello. And other than UX UI design, I do photography work. And today we are going to be developing a app where it kind of combines, the gay community together and kind of like coping with coming out of the closet.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about maybe what you did yesterday and then a little bit of what you're gonna do today?
Sure. So if we go to my screen, there's my photography work, and then we basically did a bunch of user interviews where we kind of wanted to find the pain point of like, okay, when someone comes out of the closet, like what are some struggles that they're facing, and we kind of figured out that they were trying to look for resources, but then they weren't looking for resources because the lack of motivation from their bad coming out story, or people weren't taking them seriously. And we were trying to empathize with the user, and we kind of concluded the research on that, where we're gonna make this app where it's gonna be super easy to find resources and friendly services at your house, and also meeting new other LGBTQ plus members at a new city. And then we started on the low fidelity and high fidelity wireframes on the resources and events feature of the app. And from there, we kind of went a little bit towards the open forum discussion, low fidelity, high fidelity wireframes, which we'll be continuing today and going more further development on that. And then if we have time, we can work on the friend finder, where you can find your local gays to hang out with. So, and have wine nights.
Wine nights, very important for the design community.
Absolutely.
And for everyone, really.
True, very true.
So we're going feature by feature, it looks like. And we've nailed 1.5 yesterday, and we'll finish a little bit more of that today. So should we just jump right in?
Yeah, sure. So we will be going back to our artboard page, where I'm gonna actually have all the screens in one file, which is super handy instead of having multiple files. And yesterday I kind of went through and cleaned it up what we did yesterday, like low fidelity, high fidelity wireframes, and kind of cleaned it up. So I added a back button, more cleaner, and also labeled each section as okay, these two artboards are specifically supposed to be related to events and resources feature of the app. So as we keep continuing, we can start on the open forum feature of the app. And I'm just gonna copy this artboard and paste it. Kind of just work off of that,
And I love that. I love labeling the artboard. So you can, individually label each artboard, but a lot of times you have a flow, different flows, and I also like to put text boxes over them and just be like, hey, this is what this section means, so that anyone, let's say you're working with a developer or PM or someone who is not familiar with XD, they can open your file immediately and kind of be like, oh, all right, I know what I'm looking at. This is the comment section, or this is the open forum section.
Yeah, which is super handy, because having things labeled can have fast reaction, oh, okay, this is what these screens are, which is cool. Cool, so let's start on the open forum. Yesterday we kind of were everywhere with the open forum feature. We didn't really know what we were doing, but I realized I think it would be much more cleaner to categorize each forum page or thread. So as a user, it's super easy to find something relating to what you're looking for to discuss. So we'll have a search feature on the top, and then we'll call this, instead of come out, we'll say open forum. And we're kind of just going based off of the other wireframes we made. I'm gonna still delete this, because it's not really related to what we're doing for that. And I'm gonna copy and paste this here. So instead of search events, resources, and services near you, we'll do search, topics, threads, and questions, and stupid, quote unquote, stupid questions.
That's great. It sounds like very personable. Like the app understands that you think, you know, oh, is it a stupid question to ask? And you're like, no, it's not.
Yes.
Let's ask them.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to like let them know beneath the search option, that there are no stupid questions. So even though we say it on the search bar, we can say it again here.
It's a safe space for people to ask about, you know, lifestyle questions, especially since, again, our target audience here is people who have recently come out or thinking about coming out, who need resources. They might not necessarily know that you can ask these types of questions about sexuality or about your body or...
Absolutely, and I think that's so important, especially in the community, because they don't know, you know what I mean? Like they don't know if they should be asking these stuff. So, okay, we have our header and then our search bar, and then now let's start with categorizing each topic. So what I'm going to be doing is grabbing a box and adding my favorite shadow to it, drop shadow.
I didn't know it was possible to have a favorite drop shadow.
Oh, my favorite thing is like...
Oh, it's a drop shadow, I see.
Oh my gosh. Which we discussed yesterday.
We did. I'm also a big fan of drop shadows.
Let me actually have the grid really quick.
So while Kevin is setting up his grid and coming up with the drop shadow for his new grid of boxes, just a reminder for everyone who's watching to stick around. We're going to do a chat and win halfway through. And again, that's the opportunity for everyone you could chat in our chat, and then we'll be able to pick a winner at random, and they'll win a special prize from us. And also that we have the Daily Creative Challenge going on today. So today, that means that you have the opportunity to submit your things to Daily Creative Challenge, which is at b.net/dailycreativechallenge. And you can, we'll review the submissions there, and we'll actually talk about it on the live show, and we'll have Kevin talk a little bit about, you know, what he sees in your designs, and also get a bit of direct feedback. I think mentorship was something that people talked a lot about yesterday. So if you wanted someone to give you direct, concise feedback, here we are. We're ready to do it for you.
Yes, and I will give honest feedback too.
We are here to be 100.
We'll be here for 100, so let's be real. Okay, so I have all these boxes for each topic. And then what I'm gonna do is label each one. So I think one common thing would be like, okay, how do I come out? You know what I mean? Like that's a basic. I mean, the app is called Coming Out, or like Come Out. So when someone just recently came out, they can go here and discuss their problems that they're having. So coming out. Also beneath it, I think it's important to display how many questions were posted.
I see.
Because people are like, okay, I'm not the only one. There's like, let's say 1,567 people who ask questions related to coming out. So, questions posted. And then we'll make this smaller. So like a 12.
I think that's true for a lot of great UX and UI design. People are like, oh, when should I include information? Well, you should always include information when the context helps the user decide whether or not to continue forward in the journey. Yes. And so in this case, the questions are really useful because you can say, hey, I want to understand, like, should I click on this? Is it important? Is it relevant? Is it relevant to other people? And having different numbers and like proving that other people are also looking at this and are interested in this is useful for the user here. So we're not just arbitrarily coming up with this.
Exactly. Okay, so we have all that. Let's see. Maybe another topic. I actually wrote down some stuff. So coming out, I guess, also questions about sex.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And then this could be about maybe genders and pronouns. relationships, and then other. Let's see. So like if you want to be in like a, you know, long-term relationship or like start a family, actually we'll say starting a family. And then other. Because there's probably so many people that are trying to ask questions. And then we'll add a little rounded edge to it, not too harsh.
Raphael is asking, is this layout inspired by something else? Maybe something else you really admire, or places that you've seen otherwise, or did you just come up with it? It's okay for it to be just from you.
From like the layout perspective of this? You know, I've downloaded a bunch of apps that really helped me. Like a good app would be like Wisdo, where it's kind of like people that go through depression, anxiety. There's one for acne or like loss of a family member, and like it's just literally like a chat where people kind of just express like their like feelings that they're having. It's like a community therapy app, and it's really helpful. Like it's super awesome, and there's some like serious like issues and questions that people ask. But it's a 17 and up app because there's some like explicit content.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So that kind of inspired like the whole forum part of this app as well, like the layout wise, because I myself use that app.
Got it. And this is Wisdo?
Wisdo, yeah. Wisdo, I believe. Okay, so there's no such thing as stupid questions coming out. Cool. Sex, gender pronouns, starting a family, and other. So that would be our like main categories. And I know someone was like, oh, we need more color in this app. And I'm like, I totally agree. So I'm gonna just grab these different palettes of color. And I wanna just save that just in case I need them again. In my color assets. Oh, actually, I already saved it. What the heck?
We did everything yesterday.
That's right.
So pro.
We are prepared.
You might want to undo a bunch because I think, there you go. You lost your open forum title.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Perfect. Oh, I think it's grouped.
Oh,
there you go.
I'm just gonna do that.
Nailed it.
Huh. Oh, I think I have to double click it and then get that color.
Huh.
Actually, let me just reselect these again.
Karsten is chiming in and saying that this is such a great and important topic, and he really enjoys seeing us develop this product.
Thank you.
You know, we love that because this is, as we mentioned yesterday, a topic that is near and dear to Kevin's heart.
Super helpful for me to like design what I'm feeling as well, which is cool.
And I think in a lot of work projects, we don't get the chance to say, hey, I want to work on something that's necessarily like emotionally important for me. A lot of times you're working for a client, like I know you work for an agency,
yes.
Or you're working for an internal client. But I think it's great to take time to also work on projects outside of work to say, hey, this is important to me, this is what I'm passionate about, this is what really gets me going. And it helps people, it helps all of us as designers kind of bring our own perspective and diversity to the conversation in ways that you might not be able to if it's a work project for a client that just doesn't have a vested interest in this. It's just different for them.
Yeah, no, I agree because I think like it's so focused on like the actual brand of the company, which is totally understandable. But I guess like it's also kind of therapeutic to like do personal projects on yourself.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, I'm kind of doing something here, like, and kind of just expressing how you feel about certain stuff.
Right.
Do you do any personal projects?
I do. So I do photography on the side, and I think I do photography and also floral design. And I think for me, working with design that is physical is really useful. In other words, design that involves your hands, like ceramics or florals. I think it's really a great way to take a break from seeing my screen all the time. So
you can make a pot for your flowers.
I can, I know.
Oh my God.
I have a perfect intersection. I'm waiting to do a photo shoot with my ceramics and my flowers.
Whoa.
So it would be just a blend of everything I love in one moment.
That's so cool. My mom was a florist, so she used to like do a bunch of floral designs, which is so cool. But like making everything from like start to finish, like from your like pottery and stuff, like that's awesome.
The next thing would be if I was a floral farmer. Can you imagine
Oh my
if
God,
I was like, I
your
grew
flowers?
it, and then I...
Whoa. That's your side hustle.
That should be my side hustle. Except I live in New York City, so it's not... Land is at a premium here.
Just buy like a square of like land and just be like growing your own flowers there.
1 cubic foot.
Cubic foot. Okay, so we have our little labels for the different colors, which is cool. To add like just more personality to the app. And these all have a drop shadow as well, which is good. And then let's go make another screen. Oops. I can't wait to like start doing the transitions and stuff when the app is all done.
Right.
So it could be actually functional. And then from here, what we'll be doing, oh, actually, so since it's an open forum, we want to also provide an option where they can create a new like thread.
Right, you're not just viewing it, you're participating in it.
Exactly. So we'll put like a little circle here. Another drop shadow, because why not, you know? More drop shadow. Lift this up a little. And then go to the UI kit. Actually, I could make a plus sign.
I still like using the UI kit sometimes. And so for those who don't remember from yesterday, Kevin was referring to a UI kit that comes with XD. So when you open XD, you can see in the welcome screen, there's UI kits that are available for you to use. But Kevin's also a pro at making his own icons, so we've been using that a bunch.
Mm-hmm. But also one thing that I noticed is these icons all correlate together, like they're like a set of icons. So it's actually better to use these than making your own like for this project.
I see.
So like they all have like the same stroke, so it's like easier.
Right.
Which is that difference, yeah. I'm just gonna put that here, and then I'm just gonna pick the color in the background for the color of the plus sign. Cool. So they can add their own thread, they can search their own thread, and then they could categorize each thread that they want to like look for.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then they're all color coded, which is cool. So when they search it, each color coordination will like go to its like topic.
It's a great way to integrate the colors into a direct part of the UI. We're not just using the colors for fun, but specifically to say like red indicates something here. Mm-hmm. So the rainbow, that pull down refresh that Kevin did yesterday, if you guys want to see how that's done, you can see yesterday's replay. Kevin does this really great little pull down where if you try to refresh the app, a little rainbow whoop pops up.
Oh my God, that was so much fun.
Yeah, people were clamoring to figure out how you did that.
Ooh, should I show it really quick?
No, they can just scrub back. It's all good. We'll show it in the prototype.
Okay. Oh yeah, true.
That's my favorite thing is that, you know, for these live videos, they can always go back and see. Oh, there he is. Whoa, it says you are loved. That's so cute.
Oh yeah, so I added that because the user interview that I conducted with Maxwell, he always puts like you are loved, and every time like he posts something on his Instagram story just to like tell his users like, oh, like I have your back, like don't worry. So it's such a good like community to like be a part of.
Right.
Because everyone's kind of like going through the same thing as you.
Right.
In some way.
Someone asked earlier in the chat, question for Kevin.
Yeah.
How do you balance meeting conventional user expectations for UI while experimenting with new untested design patterns?
Oh, I feel like you just have to do a bunch of user testings to figure it out. You know what I mean? Kind of if you do something new, do user testings when you design the app, because you might think it's like the most beautiful app, but like people are not gonna get it. I think there was like a social networking app where it was like beautiful UI, it was like well like executed, but no one really downloaded it because they were not familiar with like some placements of stuff that they put there, which is kind of sad. I forgot what it was called, but
I'm thinking of Path. Are you
I think
thinking
it was
of Path?
yeah.
Because Path was really well known for really beautiful interactions, and I personally loved it as a designer. But I understood that when I saw people use it, the icons would sometimes like flip out in a circle, or they would have really fun, weird, new interactions, and it was not obvious necessarily for most users how they would use it. Someone is saying cough, Snapchat, cough.
Oh my God, Snapchat is like, I don't know.
Snapchat is a whole different thing. I think Snapchat's UI is mysterious on purpose. I don't know if it's working for them or against them. I remember Googling, because I am not young enough to just know, but I had to Google how to use Snapchat, which was really embarrassing. And I had people show me. I think that definitely was a type of UI where it was supposed to be opaque on purpose. And I don't know if ultimately that would help them.
Yeah, I think Snapchat is also coming out with something like lenses where people can create their own like face filter,
right?
Which is pretty cool as well. Yeah, technology is awesome, you guys. You can do so much stuff. Okay, so we have the open forum home screen, and then when they click, we want to do something when they click coming out as like one of the categories. So instead of open forum, we'll say coming out, search, coming out, stories, and threads. I think it's super important to have a search bar like anywhere, because like it's just easier for a user to find something that's specific.
So it's like an intentional part of your UI in this case.
Yes, exactly.
And someone is asking, what is the grid size? And I believe you said it was a 15 pixel grid, right?
Yes,
for the iPhone X? Yeah.
I do that because, I'd say like the default like 8, it kind of like the squares.
On the right, you can see it kind of clipped, right?
Yeah, or like 10, like it's like halfway. So I kind of just want to like even squares, where 15's like perfect. Like it's visible and you can also like work well with it. Let's see. So we have this. Now let's start with the coming out thread. So we're gonna actually have the profile photos here, because we wanna make it more personal. So people that look through this, like they'll see the profile picture, be like, okay, he's going through this, something similar to me. So it's kind of like building a new friendship relationship with someone.
And profile is a big tab in the bottom nav too. So obviously it's going to play a big role in how people use the app.
Yes, yeah. Let's grab this.
And thank you for Mitch for saying that he's here to chat and win. And for a reminder for those who are watching, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching while logged out on Behance, you can always log in. Our chat and win countdown is coming up really close. It's a little under 5 minutes away. And you can have the chance to win a notebook from Moo.
Oh, nice. I love Moo so much. Oh my gosh.
Right, you said that you have business cards from them, right?
Yeah, I have like the best ones, like with the, there's like a color in the middle of it. I forgot what it's called, but it's like quality business
It's like
cards.
super thick,
It's
right?
thick, oh my gosh. We love them, we love Moo. Okay, so let's say like I came out to my friends and blah, blah, blah.
Quality content there.
Like, we'll see what other people would write. Okay, so we have that. We'll make this smaller because we want as much threads. And then from there, let's grab the UI kit again.
Right.
Oh, I love the UI kit. It helps so much.
And I think actually there are a bunch of UI kits that are made by other people sometimes, not just this one. I mean, I've seen ones made by other people who've actually been on Adobe Live.
Yeah.
And they've come up with their own UI kits, so you can kind of open them. I like to open them just to see the different styles that people can come up with.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. For just like design-wise, like.
Yeah, I'm just not that creative when it comes to icons, you know? So I just have to Google it a little bit.
What website do you usually look for all those icons and stuff?
I just look on Adobe Live and see if they have, they usually have UI kits for the challenge. And I think that's really great. And what's great about XD is that you can try it for free. You know, a lot of people really see, you know, they feel like they have a lot of anxiety about trying new things. I think that's part of what makes XD so great, is that you can try it and download it without any cost.
That's so cool. I think this is all grouped together.
Mean is asking if and blah 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 is the new lorem ipsum.
It is now. Yeah, I mean, I also Googled lorem ipsum, so I might actually use some of that too. But that's the coming out thread.
Great.
When someone comes out, that's how they come out. They just say
blah blah blah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's click this, put this over here. Oh wow. Oh, why is that? Oh, there we go. Cool. And then this is just showing that, okay, there's 63 replies to this thread when someone came up to their parents and blah, blah, blah. So one quick way to like repeat this is if you group these things together, use repeat grid again.
Yes. We are very pro repeat grid here.
Actually, I want to add a line
Oh,
at the bottom,
smart.
so I can just save more time. And then, let's see. Lift this up. Cool. Group this. Repeat grid.
And so for those of you who missed it, repeat grid is one of the options at the top right underneath the align buttons. And boom, we did it.
Boom. It is perfectly aligned with each other.
And you can change the spacing between things. And when you change the elements or the colors or the opacity on the first one, everything on the grid will actually change with it, which is really great. It's a big time saver.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so that's basically our like thread when someone wants to look for stuff for coming out, and then they find like a question or thread or story that they want to look more into, then they would click here. They can look at who wrote the thread and then how many replies are there, and they can also search more that's related to coming out.
Right.
And then to make it easier, they can also add another new thread that's related to coming out or go back to this page. So you want to always like think about every direction the user is gonna do, like, and then like prototype it and look through the app later. Okay, so after they click this, they would want to read more about I came out to my parents and blah, blah, blah. So from here, you would just delete everything from here. Grab a profile picture, put it here. So the Wizzo is kind of like a text formatted app where it's just a bunch of people like messaging each other. And I think that's kind of like the format that I want to go with. Instead of like leaving a comment, it's just texting each other back and forth, like a chat. So I'm just gonna make the profile photos bigger and include.
We just did chat and win. We ran down all the way down all our time away so we could do chat and win.
Oh.
So for those of you who are checking on this, we were doing a chat and win where you guys can write a comment, sign in. You guys can get the opportunity to be pulled at random for a prize.
Yeah. Wait, did we miss it?
No, now it's happening.
Oh, now it's happening now? Oh,
when
okay.
the fireworks happen, it's happening.
Okay,
Woo!
cool.
Okay, we're gonna cut to the video and then you guys will have a chance to sign in and chat. Maybe we should ask them a question.
Ooh, okay. What is...
Should we say, what lipstick color would you like Kevin to wear tomorrow?
Oh my God. Which color, you guys?
Yes, I've seen purple a few
Ooh.
times.
Green? It's gonna match
The background. Your UI will show through the lips.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love that.
I've always wanted to wear green on this so that we could blend into the background of the green screen.
Yes, I want to be part of the green screen. I want to be part of the fireworks.
Yes.
Yes.
All the colors has come up a few times, or glitter.
Glitter? Oh my God, throw it back.
Yes.
Glitter lip gloss.
And our winner is here. It is D.
D.
Ross.
Ross.
Yay!
Yay! Woo! Congratulations.
Congrats. So you're gonna get a Moo notebook because they're our sponsor today from moo.com. They make amazing business cards and other business materials from print. You can upload your own designs or you can have them make it for you. And also for those of you who didn't win, there is actually a chance for you to still get 15% off of your Moo order from the link moo.com/Adobe Live.
Adobe Live. Yeah. D. Ross, I'm gonna wear lip gloss
Oh.
tomorrow. Hey, okay.
Do you remember that song Lip Gloss?
By what's it?
Lil
Mama?
Mama.
Oh my God.
You should play that in the background when you show
My
up
lip gloss
tomorrow.
is popping. My lip gloss is cool. Oh gosh. Hopefully we don't get copyright.
I know. How does that work? Do they have to license it?
I think you have to like go through
Licensing.
Yeah.
But not if we sing it, because then it's karaoke. It's different.
Yeah. Like I don't sound nothing like Lil Mama.
So they can't, they can come after you.
Ooh, maybe I should, like, YouTubers, instead of just getting licensing, they just like sing the song and put it in the background of their like vlogs and stuff.
Not everyone can do that. Not everyone can sing.
Oh my God, now I want to do karaoke. That sounds so much fun.
Should we karaoke after this together?
Can we? Oh my God.
K-Town is really close.
Can we?
And this is how Kevin and Jeannie began their adventures on a random Wednesday.
Stay tuned on my IG story for karaoke, guys. Woo!
In a few hours. Hey!
Wait, I'm so down. I want to go to K-Town so bad. Is it close by?
It's like 34th Street. So it's quite close.
Let's do it.
Food in New York is great. We have great food everywhere.
That's why like I love New York, because like there's so many different types of foods here. Like I was taking a taxi here, and that's what they're saying. They're like, oh, like there's so many different cultures, different foods that like you can have Korean food and then like
At
Persian
night,
food or
yeah.
like something, like it's so many different types of stuff here.
I recently had Ethiopian at one of my favorite places, and I was like, yes, where else in the world can I get Ethiopian? So casually.
Ooh, I don't think I've ever had Ethiopian food.
It's good. It's really good.
What kind of food is it?
They have like a big sourdough at the bottom. It's like a thin sourdough bread.
Ooh.
And then on top they have like different dishes. It's delicious. And you eat it with your hands sometimes. And it's great. It's kind of like almost curry-esque, the dishes on top, because they're like stewed.
Okay.
So, Raphael's saying that Joe's Pizza in New York is the best ever. So true. We're big fans of Joe's Pizza. We're also in our office big fans of Prince Street Pizza. If you ever guys get a chance to look that up.
I didn't have pizza by the slice yet.
Oh, you gotta have that.
And that's like the
Classic New York.
The most important thing. Okay, but here's the real question, guys. I'm from Chicago.
Oh.
So deep dish or New York style pizza?
New York all the way.
I'll just leave that in the chat.
I have a strong opinion about this.
This is me. I just like leave some tea and then be like, like, okay, what are you gonna say? No, but deep dish is so good too. Have you ever tried deep dish?
I have. I love deep dish, but
Right?
it's hard to eat a lot of it.
Yes. Oh my God. Like your stomach hurts afterwards.
it just feels like no matter how many people split it, it's never enough people. Like I've never finished a deep dish. And been like,
you can't. Yeah, I've never finished a deep dish either. It takes so long. It's always New York versus Chicago when it comes to pizza.
It's true.
True. And then it's just like California Pizza Kitchen. That's not like...
That's not sorry to the CPK fans out there.
Oh my God, everyone's saying New York style.
Someone said pizza is pizza, just eat. There you go.
That's true.
That's a good attitude.
Yes, I like that actually.
All right, so what are you doing here? You're thinking about a system where when you select a specific category in the forum, and then you can see a list of the topics within the forum. So you're gonna select the first one, and when you select the first one, you're gonna see a almost chat style forum here, right?
Yes.
Would this be the same person, or it'd be different people chatting back and forth?
Just different people chatting back and forth, yeah. So this can go either way as like globally, where it's like everyone just talking about their story. That's why there's so many replies. And then you could also do something locally, which is the events and resources near you.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're trying to give people a base in case they're in a city where maybe they don't have a lot of, events to attend or a lot of people to meet. You could still join the chat at any time. So I think that's great because you're thinking about all kinds of people across all kinds of, geographic locations.
Yeah, because like what if someone's in a really small town, there's like nothing, no resources.
Right.
At least they'll have, something in the app that they can go to just to like talk about what they're feeling and stuff.
Right.
Because like LA and New York, there's so many resources, you
Right.
know what I mean? Which is amazing, but there's some other parts that don't have anything. So on the left side is the person that actually like asked the question. So if they want to reply to something, oops, they can put it, like everything's gonna be on the left side.
Right, I see.
And then other people, let's say like John Doe, what's another like crazy name?
I don't know, Kevin Lee.
Kevin Lee replying. And then we'll say like
Paco, Siller. Paco's our sound guy and he's currently taping down the wires and giggling.
perfect.
You're famous now, you're internet famous.
Yes, you're part of the app, Paco. Okay, cool. So we have all of our names and
Raphael's asking if it was Prince Street Pizza. Is it Ray's restaurant? No, it's literally called Prince Street Pizza. And you guys have to, maybe I'll pull up a photo and show you guys.
of the pizza there?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm gonna be so shook.
It's good. When you see it, you'll be like, oh, okay. And maybe it's like a good marriage
Whoa.
of your... I love seeing this behind us.
Oh, yes!
It's like a pizza
wallpaper. I'm so happy. I'm surrounded. I'm swimming in pizza.
But you guys can see it's like intense. It's kind of almost
gosh.
deep dishy, so maybe you would love it.
I want to grab it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, looks so freaking good. I'm so excited to like, after the show, like I know what I'm getting.
Pizza
Yeah.
and karaoke.
And karaoke, yes. Okay, let's see the spacing for this.
And for those of you who are just joining in now, Kevin is a designer from San Diego. He is making an app that provides resources to LGBTQ plus folks who are coming out, and the app is aptly named Come Out. And so here we're working on a specific product feature inside of Come Out called Open Forums, where people can ask questions to their peers and to other people who have also come out about things that might be on their heart or things that they've been thinking about. And we're also going to have a challenge submission. So that challenge submission deadline is coming up in under 50 minutes. If you guys want to go to behance.live, you guys can see the challenge on the top right. There's a tab, and you can design and prototype a team page for an agency website with Adobe XD. Before we finish up today with Kevin, we're going to actually go through and review some of your submissions. And so if you're interested in having Kevin look at your work and give feedback directly on it, I think it's a great way to have a few moments of his eyeballs on your work. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions in the chat, also feel free to ask. We're really open. We're down to be honest with you, tell you what's up.
I will give you a great critique. Just you watch. So I have a question for you. I know people that don't take criticism, like critique well.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love constructive criticism because it makes me so much more of a stronger designer.
Right.
So how do you, like, what advice would you give people that would kind of get, like, maybe offended by something or like don't really understand that?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a problem in a lot of design teams because you might work with people who, I would say, receive critique in different ways.
Yes.
Some people, they want it framed positively. Some people want it framed in terms of numbers. That really helps them, so it's not personal. Some people react really well to like strong, harsh critique. They're like, be honest with me, tell me the truth.
Make me cry.
Yeah, make me cry, and then I'll know how much it sucks.
Make me cry that I know you're 100.
Like, tell me the truth if you love me, kind of
Yeah.
hard love attitude. I think it really depends on the person, and I think with any good critique, obviously when we're doing it here, we're doing it in a pretty lighthearted way because we don't really know the person personally, so we can only give kind of, you know, short critique that we're not diving super deep into the design.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But generally when I try to do portfolio reviews or any other critique, I try to ask the person, like, how do you prefer, like, I'll ask, like, how do you prefer to receive your critique? What's important to you?
Yep.
And some people might say, like, well, I don't mind if the critique is harsh so long as I know I have concrete ways to improve. So I don't want you to just tell me that it's bad. I want you to give me direct feedback about the 3 things I can improve. And so I think that's great because then I can respond accordingly. And if you're working in a team, I think there's ways for you to be able to ask and grow a relationship with that person and ask in a way that helps them. So I think over time, for example, my manager has gotten really good at giving me feedback in the way that I'm able to respond well to it. And there's other people on my team where I've also learned, like, you know, there are different ways of asking.
So like you kind of get a gist of like how they are when they react to it,
Right.
and then go from there when you provide like feedback
Right.
and stuff. That's cool, yeah.
I feel like, do you get a chance to give a lot of critique because you work for an agency? Like, what is your team's critique cadence, I guess?
So we would have, every Wednesday we would have like a meeting about like what are some responsibilities that we'd be doing. And then from there, you would send it through Slack, like, oh, like what do you think of like this certain design that I made? And then they would kind of like give you a rough like rundown of like, oh, change this edge, or like maybe change this text around this image, change the image, change the color. Like, I remember one time when I had a freelance client, they were just like, redo it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Brutal, like very blunt.
They're just like, redo it. I'm like, okay, but like,
Why?
like,
Yes, and?
And why is it that you don't like this type of text positioning or
Right.
stuff like that? But I love it. Like, it helps me understand clients, and it also understands like become a stronger designer.
Right. I think it's tough too because a lot of times people, they'll say things like, oh, I don't like it, but I don't know why. And I think it's our job as designers not just to be like, well, you're stupid, that doesn't matter, but to really, you know, dig deeply. Well, you know, a lot of people say that. They're like, oh, that's not valid feedback. And it's like, no, that is valid feedback. We just have to like parse through how, like, what they're really trying to say with their feedback, right? So you can ask questions like, is it the readability? Is it because it feels unclear to you? And I think being more specific and helping guide their critique is an important part of our designer toolkit that isn't necessarily design work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like Anel said, like, can you be more specific?
Right, exactly. And you can also ask pretty direct questions like, is the imagery, if I remove the imagery here, does it help make it less distracting? Because maybe sometimes it's just a color or an image that's like pulling they're just like, oh, I don't like purple. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's great. Like,
Yeah.
The colors can be changed, but the real question is, what is, you know, like, do you feel like this is solving the problem?
Yeah, no, I can see that, yeah. It's funny though, like when there's some people that are not part of like, they don't know really anything about design and they're like, oh, like why does purple represent this emotion or something? And I'm like,
Sometimes it's because I like the color.
oh, is
You can just say that too.
just
I
like,
liked
I
it.
like the color. I'm
Yeah.
like- okay, so for creating a new thread or forum, I want to have something pop up from the top and like slide down on the screen. So I'm making this kind of like pop-up window on the app where you can create a new forum or thread. And I just added title and then ask away. And instead of check-in, we'll say submit. And when you prototype it, and someone clicks this plus sign, you can drag it here. Instead of action transition, you do action overlay.
Ooh.
And then slide down.
Let's
so
try that.
when you prototype it and click it.
Wow.
So
I think
let me
the
delete
frame, yeah, you gotta get rid of the frame.
this. What just happened?
Go back, undo.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Cool.
I think you deleted the wrong frame, so on that one, there you go.
Oh.
Yes.
So when they click that,
And so
oh
for
my god, that's so cute. It's
yes.
like a little window.
It's like boop.
But it's like too rounded. Let's see. Yeah.
That's great.
And then if you want to go back, just click this.
You have to like triple click it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Oh, it's because
The text box.
yeah, the text box is too big.
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So prototype this. Back. Ooh, maybe we'll do slide up. Overlay. Wait, let me see. Oh,
Ooh, that's fun.
it goes quick.
And we can do time transitions here actually, and I think that's a great segue into a new feature that launched on Adobe XD this past week. So if you guys update your XD to the newest version, you can see that under here they have the easing. So they have easing and duration, so you can say how long you want something to happen. So that happened pretty quick. Maybe we can make it a little slower just to test it.
So maybe 0.4 we'll do 0.8.
Yeah,
Just
so
to
double
see.
it. Ooh,
Whoa.
now it's really slow.
I was like, whoa. Oh, what?
I wonder how it decided. Still pretty fast. Huh.
Oh.
We can play with that more.
Yeah, I think I like it quicker because,
You don't want it to be like a delay between.
yeah, so like boom, boom. I think that's fine.
All
That
right.
looks good. Yeah, sweet. Okay, so we have our pop-up window as an overlay transition. And yeah, that's pretty much basically it for the forum feature. And knowing me, I kind of want to label all these artboards.
Yeah, let's label them.
So like open forum. Home.
Kevin's just double clicking the top at the title, and then you can automatically change it quickly. Chris, I think, has a great question here. He says, how do you convince a dev or business team that has never had a UX person that UX is important?
Ooh. That's an interesting question because you wouldn't really think that. You just assume like it is important because you're designing for the user.
I think that's different because you're in an industry where the default is to have a UX person. So I think what Chris is talking about is, what if there's a situation where it's not the default? Design is not a default.
I think it's just super important to show things that worked in other companies, and see like where the business is wanting to head and become as successful as like an inspiration company, and kind of show them some design elements that that company use that is super strong right now, that your company wants to become kind of similar to.
Right.
And then from there, show them these are the things that's working for them, and that's why design is important.
Right. So you're doing some sort of like competitor analysis and
Exactly.
explaining the reasons why it works for them. And then also you're doing some sort of like, you could do like data and numbers. So you're saying like, we can increase this by X amount, and here's like a number or a metric that's really important to you. Here's how we think we can impact that. And you can say, we'll track it and we'll calculate whether or not the design changes and UX changes even make a difference. I think that's a great way to convince people who are, you know, in the business side or in the dev side to say, yeah, design is important.
Yep. Because I've had situations like that for like freelance clients where they don't really think that the design part is super important. They just care about the layout. And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Right. So they're like, oh, colors, that's what you do, right? And you're like, it's a little more than that.
Yeah, it's more than just coloring things. But yeah, I think making a competitive analysis.
Yeah, competitive analysis is so useful.
Yeah.
And you can also point at things like, what is one metric they personally care about? So that might, so for example, for a social network like Behance, it might be something like, every day we want people to visit one project, right? That's not a real metric, but if that becomes a metric that we think is like the most important, then maybe we should make that a priority. And then design can say, all right, here are 10 designs that specifically are trying to achieve that, versus being like, let me advocate for design in a very broad, sort of like floaty, conceptual sort of way.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, I see you've labeled the top of it, the red, to be the same red as the category red on the right side, on the left side there.
Just to stay consistent with just the color and stuff like that. And then the search bar icons change.
Right.
But we want to stay consistent in the nav bar as the purple, because that is kind of like our main color. And the other colors are kind of just like a follow color for a different category.
Right.
Which actually, I have to change this.
Right, so we're in a different part of the nav, so the different part of the nav lights up.
Yep. And then this should be changing back to the gray. Cool. Perfect.
And so again, just a reminder that the challenge submission deadline is in 35 minutes, and you'll have the chance to have Kevin see your designs and give you some smart critique and feedback.
Ooh, what's the challenge? Like
the team page for an agency.
Ooh.
I think that's great because there's a lot to think about there. There's people, there's descriptions, there's also like, what is the point of having a team page? Like, that's a really good question for people to ask. So I think there's a lot that we could look at there.
Actually, for my agency, I worked on their team page as well. I like took all their photos.
Ooh, we have a agency team page expert here.
So we'll see your submissions and see. But yeah, like my company, the company that I work for, they wanted to rebrand their whole website. So I had the awesome opportunity to do that and do the UI design for it, which is cool. A lot of researching other companies that are working well for their website. So everything here is red. To stay consistent with coming out. And I guess we can add like photos and stuff for the chat. So let me do, forums, profile pic. And I'll do what you did,
Oh, but that will only work if it's a grid. If it's a, what's it called?
Repeat grid. Oh, gotcha. It's okay, we'll just add.
We'll just, yep, quick, one of my favorite things.
Wow,
quick,
look at me.
Quick drag and drop. That's you.
That is me. Okay, cool. And let me, is this a repeat grid? Yes, it is. So this can work that way.
Yes, this can work. Perfect. And so for those who don't know, you can have, if you have a bunch of images and you have a bunch of shapes inside of the repeat grid, you can directly just drag it into the repeat grid and it will populate all of the same shape with different versions of that, different images.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to kind of cut down on this.
Let me see. Okay, so let's add photos for the categories. So for coming out, we'll do this photo. And then for sex, we'll do a banana.
Seems so specific.
And then genders and pronouns, we'll do this image, starting a family. And then other, we'll just have like the flag. So what I love to do for like these types of buttons is add like a black overlay. So let me see. I would copy paste. Oops.
You can directly, if you just select it, you can change the overlay right there.
Oh really?
Yep.
By this?
You can just fill it with color. So click the checkbox for color. Yep, there you go.
And then
the top, it has opacity. Yep.
Oh. Should it be this?
You might have not copied it twice. So copy it again.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, now it's at the back. Oh, I see. Fill. Yep. It's in the back behind your other one. So switch it again. Send that to the back.
Oh wait. Oh wait, let me. Oh wait, is it? Okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you
cool.
go. We did it. We
did it. Yeah, we did it. Okay. Oops. And then we'll make these.
And so why are you doing the overlay?
Because it's hard to see the text without it.
Got it.
So just darkening the image and then also just making it bolder. So we'll do that. Use this. And then add this to the back. Oh wait, did I not copy and paste that? Oh.
There you go.
And then this white. Cool. And then we'll just do the same thing with this. Nice. So we have our buttons for the open forum homepage, and then now we are good to go. I think we just have to connect all the screens, and then it could be functional. So let's see, someone wants to click coming out. So I just double click that in this repeat grid, and then they'll go here. Someone wants to go to this specific forum. So they'll go, oops, that's not the screen. They'll go here. And then if they want to go back, they can go back. And then we added the, adding a new thread option. And for, oh wait, actually we don't need this here because they're already in a,
I see, they're already in a thread versus being able to add one in a category.
So let's see, let's test it out. Okay. So there's no such thing as stupid questions. They would click this.
Wow.
Oh, let's change the transition.
Oh, I see, because transition's doing overlay right now.
Or to dissolve.
Dissolve, perfect.
And then, let's see, are these all the same? Yeah. To dissolve. Okay, cool. So coming out, nice. They see this story, they're like, I want this one.
Wow.
And then the chat. Oh, gotta fix some stuff. But, and then they go back, and stuff like. And then it just like functions pretty good. I think I'm just gonna change some stuff here though. For transition. Is it this one? Oh. To dissolve. And then.
And for those of you who don't know, we're in the prototype tab. On the top left, there's design, which is when you come up with what's on the artboards, versus prototype, which is on the right. And you can select which parts should go to different screens or different artboards. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. It works out pretty good. Some things have to be fixed. Right. Which is the whole purpose of prototyping it.
Right.
To see if there's any mistakes. I don't need this. Fix that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Then fix these two things.
And here we're doing the fixed position while scrolling checkbox on the right, which allows you so that when you scroll, things aren't moving around. So in this case, his buttons aren't moving around. Makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. And here, everything's good. Yeah. Oh wait, oops. So I should add. I wonder if this is fixed. Yeah, it is.
Someone in the chat is asking, I'm a front-end dev and graphic designer thinking of jumping into my first UX gig. What's the interview process like for a UX designer?
I would say they would ask you to show your process from beginning to end on a project that you worked on. So like explaining the research behind it, from the research, like did you have to collaborate with anyone, and then kind of just like going through your process of a certain project, because I think they want to know your design process from start to finish, and that's what I like kind of found out more about, like the whole interview process for UX UI.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the same with you too?
I think so. I think figuring out how a designer thinks is really important for a lot of interviews, and how honest they can be about what it takes to build a product or a project. I think that comes up a lot. People will be like, so how much was your involvement was in it? And I think it's okay to be honest and be like, for this project, I only did the icons. And for this project, I did the nav bar, and then I also worked on the UI for this part. And being able to attribute that to other parts of your team and talk about how you work with your team is important, because then it means that you've gone through the process before. Someone who tells me that they've done everything, unless they've actually done everything, which I've seen maybe like only a handful of times where a designer is the developer and the PM and it was just a one-man project. Yeah. But typically, I would say it's a team that makes the dream work. And
oh, I love that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
You have to just be honest about that, you know?
Yeah. That's why I love like working with a team and like collaborating.
How many people are on your team in your agency?
There is 4 designers, including me. So it's pretty like a small agency in San Diego. But we do a lot of the design work because we are so small, and just like collaborating with each other and like getting feedback from each other kind of just builds us up as a stronger design team, which is cool. Yeah.
Our team at Behance is also only 4 designers, so I feel you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I design for Behance.net, which is how most of you are watching at behance.net/live. And there's only 4 of us, and we cover all of the web and also the mobile products that we use. And then we also work with 2 other designers, one of whom works on 99U and another one who works on Adobe Portfolio. And we all sit together and give each other feedback. So it's a pretty small team.
I like the environment of like a small design team too, because just like the bigger the team, it's like the less people like you get to know. I don't know if that makes
Right. Like you kind of get to know every single person in the team and you can work with them very like deeply versus like in a very large design team, you might only meet someone once or twice at like all hands or like where everyone is like getting together.
Yep. Just like getting to know your teammates.
Yeah.
Just adding this icon.
And people in the chat, we'd love to hear from you. How many people are in your teams if you do work on a design team, or do you have an ideal design team size? Because I think people come from all kinds of different backgrounds, and we'd love to know, you know, what your team setup looks like.
Cool. Sweet. So we pretty much finished 2 of the features out of the 4, which is the events and resources page and the forum page. And then now we just have to do the friend finder and the profile page. And setting page is just like logging out of the app, which is super easy.
Right.
I guess what we can start to do is maybe show like the time transitions.
Sure.
So one way you can use the time transition, let's use the events and resources page. So when someone like uses the app and the first time, it's good to like preview the buttons and like what each button does when someone clicks it, to like kind of like give them a rundown of like what stuff there is on the app. So what the time transition does is it helps that, let me create a different screen for this. So if someone is obviously not very tech savvy, you can kind of like circle some stuff. Like this search icon. Or actually, instead of circling it, we'll do a rectangle. You guys, this is such a cool feature that Adobe XD provided. So it's bigger. And then we'll say that this is the search bar. I'm just doing something like really quickly. It's not going to be like aesthetically pleasing.
Right.
But like search bar, another screen would be view all.
And for those of you who are working on the challenge submission, a reminder that the deadline is in 20 minutes. And so we really get
to see it.
Yeah, we get a chance to have an expert on team pages.
Yes.
Look at team pages.
Oh my God.
So if you click on the challenge tab in the top right of the page on behance.net/live, you can see what how to submit your work for today's daily creative challenge.
I wonder what people will come up with.
I know. I'm really curious, actually.
Like, are they going to use their own like company team? Like, I wonder. Like,
what if it's their real photos?
We get to know more designers in different countries, I guess. Okay, so if you look at like these 3 things, like these 3 screens that I did,
right?
I showed that there's a search bar, view all button, and then Varsity Gay League button right there. So I think when you click the home page and then you want to transition this, you have to drag it. Instead of trigger is tap, it's triggered time, which is new. And then let's say we want this as like 0.4 seconds. And then, let me see if it's previous art. Oh wait, is it previous? Oh no. Hold on. to time. Let me see.
People in the chat, in response to our questions about how many people were on a team, they were saying that they want to work for a team, but they work by themselves. That's Anel, or Crystal, who's saying she's a one-person creative for a company. So it's definitely a tough, situation when you're all alone. And I think that's kind of what earlier someone had mentioned. What is it like to be the only UX person, or to convince business that UX is important for their business? I think that's a pretty common struggle for a lot of designers who are working by themselves without a larger team.
Have you ever worked with like a company that had a huge design team?
Actually, Adobe's design team is really big broadly.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
So not at Behance, but Behance is one department or one subsection of Adobe. But like, if you can imagine that for the Photoshop team or for larger products, that there are tons of people. And so one of the challenges that we have is keeping a consistent UI and style and look. And then also from the UX point of view, one thing that we've been caring a lot about is, how can we make sure that when anyone lands on any product, so for example on XD, that they feel like it's easy to use. And I think that's something Adobe has traditionally struggled with, and the design team is a big part of helping solve that. Like, how can we make XD fun and easy to use? And that's part of why we do live at all. We want people to feel like they can get a handle on design.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so for the time transitions, I was like trying to figure it out, but then like I ended up like it was already doing it.
Right.
So if you play the prototype for the homepage that you want to use the time transition, stay focused on the three things that we highlighted, which is the search bar here, the view all, and then this Varsity Gay League. So let's start with this homepage. So notice how it's search bar, view all, and Varsity Gay League. So this is a good, useful transition when the user first uses the app and kind of like run through the different things that's on the homepage.
Right.
Maybe probably not do it that quick, because that was like super quick, maybe like 0.8 seconds.
Right, so in this case, you're doing a little guided tour. So right when they open the app, they just
Guided
downloaded
tour,
it.
that's the word, yeah.
And they were just like, what is it? And immediately you're like, there's a search bar, you can view all new events, or you can select a specific event. And I think it's a great way to kind of do a quick onboarding. That's right, Amelia is saying that's nice onboarding. And I think onboarding is a huge part of, the design process of thinking through, great, we have a great product, but how will someone master it? How will someone use it in a meaningful way? Mm-hmm.
And then you don't want to like end it on this, where it's like highlighting that. So maybe have another one where it kind of just shows the whole, hold on, let me grab this. I'm just doing this like super quickly, but tomorrow there's going to be like a more creative way on using the time transitions. Ooh. So this is a little like preview of what we'll be doing for tomorrow.
And for our chat guests, you'll notice that we have a XD celebrity amongst us in the chat. So Talon Wadsworth is one of the designers, the father of XD is what someone called him yesterday in the chat.
I love that.
And so he's here and chatting, and I think, again, the XD team, they're really responsive they want to see how you guys are learning, see what you guys are doing when you use the XD app. So again, there's a challenge submission deadline in 14 minutes. So if you submit it, not only will Kevin see it, but hopefully Talon will still be on the chat, and he can also see it in the replays and see how you guys have been using XD to further your projects.
So, okay. It's gonna work. Boom. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I just did the time transition. Very not like design aesthetic, but like just showing how it works. So if we replay it, it highlights. Wait. What happened? Oh, okay. Search bar, view all, Varsity Gaelic, got it.
Wow.
Click it. And then I think there's a way where you can do like skip the tutorial or like skip the guided tour.
Right.
So you can like have that as an option as well.
Right. But it's a great little ending state so that you can kind of see like, oh, got it. Yeah, I understood what just happened.
Yeah.
Or maybe have a replay in a more complicated UI.
So tomorrow we'll do something with that, but like make it more prettier. I just wanted to show you the new like update, which is cool.
Right.
So going back to our open forum, we pretty much finished everything. And then now I guess we can work on the friend finder on the low fidelity since we have time. Oops, still in prototype. Cool. So this is more like friending and networking with friends for the LGBTQ plus community. Just gonna take down the screen and then save friend finder. So I don't know if I want to do like a Tinder, Bumble, like swipe right, swipe left, because that's like you're just looking for stuff that's like, I don't know,
Like aesthetics.
aesthetic. So it's not really like their story or anything. So maybe we can have their coming out story or like what their interests are, and then once they do match, then they can see each other's profile picture, just to like not have something, have people just judge you by like the way you look or something.
Right. So the UI can help dictate the intent of the app.
Yes.
So in this case, you're saying that it's important, like one core value for you is that you're trying to build community. It's not just a dating app, although it can be if people meet and want to date someone there. But the primary purpose here is to really connect at a deeper level. So then not using profile pictures as like the big or like giant pictures as like the main way you find friends can be a way for UI to reflect the values that you have already, thought through for the app.
Because like we don't want it to be like another hooking up app. We want like people to make like actual connections.
Right.
Not saying that those apps don't, but this is just a better way to like, I guess, especially when someone just came out, to experience other people just like them. So we're getting rid of the search bar. Yeah, what were you saying?
No, I was saying that I think that's great because I think you have thought through, even if we haven't like explicitly talked about it, there is, you've had conversations about within yourself and also with the people you've done user testing with about what's important for someone who's coming out.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of guiding why you're making the design decisions you're making.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, what if it was actually a swipe method, but it was more showing who they were instead of like a face?
Right. Or you can have the face, but be really small. Like that's not the primary thing.
Yeah. So like, we want like a card system. Drop shadow.
Classic Kevin Lee.
Right. And then we'll keep that white. What if we just made it like, that's the profile picture?
Yeah. Just be like, it's not important. You just need to know that they're real.
We'll just put that there. And then we'll have like a check mark to verify like, okay, they are real.
Yes. So you're trying to prevent trolling, but still make sure that you know that it's a real person.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, catfishing. That is a real problem nowadays.
Yeah, it happened to me.
No, you got catfished? Stop.
In LA, and I don't know if like, is that like a story time? But like that literally happened to me, and I was shocked.
Were you so mad?
I was more scared. Because like, even though it was a public place, I was just like, wait, who are you? And he was like, oh, I'm John Doe. And I'm like, oh, you're not the guy in the profile picture. And he's like, oh. I'm like, I'm gonna go. We met at a 24-hour coffee shop. It was, I can tell you more about that later.
That is a trauma. That is a true trauma. And so catfishing,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, is when someone masquerades. It's not just in dating apps, just in general, right? Like they online, they pose to be someone who they're not, and then when you meet them or when you finally find out, you're like, oh, you're not the person in the photo. And it's definitely a problem when people use other people's photos too, because sometimes you can pose, like you could take Kevin's photo and pose as something, and that would be really terrible.
I know. I mean, you guys, like, I know I'm beautiful, but like, please
don't.
Just
Please
kidding.
do not.
Like, I know you want this face. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it's very, like, scary.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm gonna do this yet. I literally just like, I didn't think we'd have time to do this, but.
Well, we only have 7 or 8 more minutes until we do the challenge submission, so don't worry.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, Raphael's asking, is it required to have those tabs on the bottom for iOS apps? Your 5-tab nav in the bottom?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
I think so, because there's so many different features of the app that it's just easier and like familiar with the user. Like I said yesterday, that like apps like Instagram or Facebook, the nav's usually in the bottom. So kind of like hiding that and like doing a different design approach for it would be kind of confusing for a new user.
Right.
So I think just having that in the bottom and having that familiarity with your user experience is good.
Right. And maybe if we were making something where the navigation was less important, like maybe an app that only had one feature, or an app that doesn't rely so much on different features and exploring different resources, maybe you could get away with not having a nav, or you can place a nav in a different way. But in this case, because we're specifically coming up with a social network that is for people who are coming out, I think it's great that we have the opportunity to show what that would be, so that, you know, when you're using it, you immediately know there's lots of different types of features here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. John Doe.
Someone was saying that John Doe is what they call corpses.
Wait,
right?
what?
Yeah, you know, like in like Law and Order SVU, one of the comments was like, that's like what you name like an unidentified corpse. So we should call it something different.
I already changed it.
Bob Smith, that's great. We'll have Bob Smith instead
like,
of
as
John
you were
Doe.
telling me that, I was just like, Bob. Wow, I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
I had forgotten, but it's true. Like if you watch like Law and Order, they'll be like, oh, Jane Doe or John Doe. It's when they don't know who it is.
Oops. I like didn't even know that. Oh my gosh.
I did not realize that either. I mean, I don't think it's bad to use. It's just like a generic name. I think that's why people use John Doe. It's like a super generic.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So maybe not put their last name, but like just Bob and then.
Maybe an initial?
Yeah, Bob S. Yeah.
Great.
And kind of just showing their like background and age and stuff. So maybe Bob S is 25 years old, because there is no age limit with coming out. There's so many different people from different ages that haven't come out yet or are still in the closet. So it's like a very universal app for with age.
Right.
So let's make this a medium size. And I'll just say job, because I don't know if I want to put like employment, like what he does for a living.
Right.
And then kind of just showing what his story is, so like my coming out story. So instead of photos being the first thing you see, it's like his story.
Right. There are 4 minutes left to our challenge submission deadline, so if you guys have a chance to put something into XD and submit it, that would be great. So yeah.
It's already been, wow.
I know, time flies when we're having fun.
We're too busy talking about Korean karaoke.
It's true.
And pizza.
And Ethiopian food.
Oh my god, my stomach is
I
like,
know,
I'm like
growling.
so hungry right now, you guys.
Can you hear it through the mic? Like I worry that my stomach growls will be heard through the mic.
Like ASMR food growling.
Yes.
Oh my god, I am so hungry. That sounds so good. Okay, so my coming out story, Norm Ipsum. And here's the thing, like I know people don't want to read. I know I don't want to read a lot because like, I mean, I love to read, but like I'm not gonna read everyone's story.
An essay, exactly.
Yeah. So we're gonna have like a cap, like
140.
Yeah,
something arbitrary.
Something quick, right?
Although Twitter doesn't do that anymore. But yes, 140 characters is always great.
As a preview, and then when we ask the user to create these profiles, we'll just be like, do like the basic things that was the process of coming out, like how I wrote for the user interviews.
Right. Just
something super quick. And then from there, we can work around like, so my coming out story, my favorite resources.
Right.
And then it'll be like images of
like apps that they use, maybe.
Yeah. So this could be either an organization, like Project Contrast, or it could be like how you said.
Like what you're saying.
Yeah, like an app. And then yeah, Wisdo is an amazing app. So my favorite resources. Okay, perfect. And then, so this might change tomorrow. You never know with me.
Well, we're really just making a low fidelity wireframe, and we're just kind of riffing off of the designs. And I think for now, this is actually a great place to pause because, you know, as you're working, you're going to come back tomorrow. And so we should talk about a little bit about what you want to do tomorrow since, you know, in a minute, people's challenge submission deadline will be done. Yeah,
so tomorrow we will work more on the friend finder and do the low fidelity and high fidelity wireframes and get a better structure idea of like how that's gonna look. And then we'll work on the your personal profile page. So like what's going to be on the page. Maybe it'll show like, oh, I went to these places when you checked into them from the resource and events app feature of the app. And then maybe it'll show like, oh, like your friend groups that you've made through the friend finder and your profile picture, and then just like more information like your coming out story, favorite resources, and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's gonna be tomorrow, and we'll develop that and then prototype it, and we will have like a functioning app after.
Right, and I think that's great. I think the key here is that we are designing from the ground up, so we're coming up with even like the problem, the user testing, coming up with lo-fi and the high fidelity, and then eventually getting to the part where we can prototype even more than what we've done now. But what we've prototyped so far already feels like a pretty well-functioning app. And I think the core here is that it's a topic that Kevin has personally cared about a lot, and he's put a lot of thought into it. And so all the thought that he's put into it is really speaking across like the design decisions that we're making. So a lot of people are bringing up different kinds of design decisions and why we'd make them. It's coming from Kevin's own personal core beliefs and values. So.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, our challenge submission deadline is here.
Ooh.
And so I think, should we take a look at the challenges? All right, if we can switch to my screen. This one's by Anne. So this is actually not a challenge, the team agency challenge. I think people had a tough time finishing because it was only an hour, but you still have the chance to submit your challenge for the next live, and the time will move. And so Anne's in the chat watching you kind of give feedback to her.
Yes.
So here we can see that she chose to design and prototype a mobile app for booking an appointment.
Wow.
So it says, favor your time, my design of a booking app.
Oh my God, I love it. Favor your time. Ooh, I like the like the circles.
Yeah, it feels like you could tap it, right?
Yeah, like a ripple.
It would, yes, it would like kind of like bounce inside of the thing. So that's great when the UI kind of implies the transitions or the interactions.
I love that. Oh my god. So pretty.
Yeah, very cool way to use color.
Oh. Nice. Search bar. Show me. Wow. You did a lot.
Yeah, I feel like this is a lot of work. I feel like the ability for you to see different options, so you could put either my location directly from your phone, right? Your phone has geolocation, or you can put in a specific zip code. Let's say I'm on a plane and I'm thinking about getting a spa when I land. I can put in a zip code for where I'm landing. And also I think there are really great smart defaults here, like me only versus 2+ adults.
Yeah.
A lot of times great UI just depends on defaults.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh gosh, I love those colors too.
Yeah, we can click on it like this. Yes.
I love that.
And so here is like, I imagine that you could scroll through a bunch of different things here for fitness specifically.
Yeah.
Wellness.
I like how it highlights it like that.
Right.
And then when you select it, it does a check mark.
Right.
That's cool.
And so when you've selected, here I can exit out of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow. There's,
oh my God, that's a lot.
There's so much work put into this. And so again, I think that icon's great. It kind of reminds again of that icon.
Yes. The ripple button.
Yep. And also different locations that are also available via the app that are nearby.
Yes, oh my God, I love that.
And a little card here. You can see the card. Yes, spa heaven. That's me tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m.
Oh my God.
How do I book this? How do we book this?
Yes.
Oh, even thinking about, interstitial states. Interstitials are the states between different...
oh, I didn't even think about
yeah,
that. That's nice.
Like, well, I think that's why people love the little refresh thing that you did with the rainbow so much, because it almost feels like you're thinking about the interactions that people aren't focused on. That's not a main interaction or a main call to action, but you can really see like, oh yeah, this is like the feel of the site or the feel of the app.
Yeah.
And the booking is complete.
Oh, I would share that on Twitter. Yeah, I'm having a bougie day.
Yes. So. This is where they screenshot it and it goes straight on your Instagram.
Oh my God, yes. And your story?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can edit things here.
I love it.
Oh, it's great. And so it's kind of similar to the styling that you have of different rows.
Yeah. I love that.
All right, let's try this prototype. Where you can see this video that Anne made, sorry.
What are you looking for?
Search. Spa.
She even put like...
That's great.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I think we have one more.
Ooh.
Oh, and this is from, who's this by? Let's see if someone will tell us. So someone says, I want to book Kevin as my ghost designer. I like that. It's a true.
Thank you.
That is a true compliment.
Thank
All
you.
right, so here's an agency page that, wow, you can kind of see, wow, Obama is in your agency.
Oh, I'm so happy. Hello.
Did you know he's in business, engineering, and marketing?
He does everything.
He does everything.
He does everything. That's awesome. Oh, very clean. I like how you put the gray background to like divide up each. Oh, I see. Yeah, to divide each department of the team.
Right.
And I like the circles and the name underneath. What's that under? What does that say?
Is that back to top?
Back to top. Okay. And then each individual profile.
When you select it.
I think that's really important too, because it shows the work culture, like who they hire, and if it's like it shows more personality to their employees.
Right.
and giving their social media and contact information, which is really cool.
Right. So you could, in theory, have a very short bio, but even just having first name, last name, and also their social icons, you could get pretty far in seeing people.
Yeah, I love it.
All right.
Is there another one?
I think that's it for us, right?
I think there is.
Nope, that's it for us for today.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Sweet.
And I think
Awesome.
thanks so much for taking the time to submit to our challenge. I think it means a lot for us that you are able to participate with this. With that, it is 1:36 on Eastern Standard Time, so I think we can go back to maybe prototyping a little bit more until we fill up our hour.
Yeah.
And for those of you who didn't get a chance to submit our challenge, you know, you still have the chance to submit in all of our other live moments. So after us, there's another live session of people prototyping again and designing again with XD. So
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I guess we can start prototyping this a little bit more. Maybe we should make it more prettier, like the time transitions.
right.
So this would happen if they first started the app. So, okay. Let's actually, oh, my screen is loading.
It's giving you the beach ball of death. Classic.
This rainbow, I mean, I love rainbows, but not this one.
I feel like it's really on brand for your app.
I know. Oh my God.
Maybe you can X out of the preview for now. See if it'll work.
Huh.
We'll give it a second.
Okay. So while that's loading, is there any other like new updates that you're excited about with Adobe XD?
Yeah, so there's another one. You know, Lauren is asking when are the new updates coming out. They already came out, so you should be able to update your existing XD program to the newest version via Creative Cloud, the Creative Cloud installer in your desktop. And I think the key here is that one of the other updates we have is responsive resize, which is when you're able to kind of drag and drop. And I think in this case, it's tough for us to prototype because we're making specifically an app, but if we're making a website that needs to be responsive across different devices, I think it's great for you to be able to, you know, prototype it across. Tim has the link in the chat.
I think that's super useful because you don't have to like redesign everything
Right.
to become responsive. You could just like drag it and then it just does it for you in the best aesthetic way as possible.
Right.
Yeah. What are some other updates?
I think the next thing that they're looking at is, you know, how to update more on the preview. So there's definitely ways for us to do that. And if we want to actually, here I can show you real quick. I can actually show you guys responsive resize on my screen.
On your screen, yeah.
If you want to look at that.
And I'll try to figure this out.
So if we want to switch to my screen. Great. So I think here what you can do is you can, let's say we have a grid. I think this is a great way to use repeat grid. And then we're going to go ahead and change this repeat grid to have a small border and a drop shadow. And what I like to do here is I actually have a folder here called mockup images. And every time I use mockup images, it's a great way to say, here's a bunch of large images, and I'll go ahead and take that and drag them. And I've already saved them onto my computer somewhere so that I can refer to them later. And these are all images that are visible via Behance, so you can see it here. Ta-da! And then what responsive resize allows you to do is it allows you to take the edge of this artboard, and there's a toggle here that says responsive resize. and you can actually take the artboard and resize the entire artboard. And it actually, the grid will stretch to fill, as opposed to you having to like move it around. Yeah. And I think this is a great way to use responsive resize to say, all right, let me show it to you at this insane size, and then I'll come up with an artboard. I used to come up with different versions of the same artboard, so I would say like, here's a Web 1920 artboard, here's an iPad artboard, here's an iPhone artboard, etc. But instead now I can just take the same artboard and copy it.
And just like drag it.
And just drag it. So I would say like here is roughly what I would expect for tablet sized-ish, or if I want it for phone or for like a super giant size. I think that's always like a great way. And so this is completely new because responsive design is really key for what we do nowadays. I think responsive is the new default versus coming up with just a web-only version and then only an app. So I think that's definitely new for us.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Should we get back to yours?
Oh yeah. So just had to force quit it and restart the app. Okay. So let's see. So we decided to make this prettier. So I kind of like this purple overlay. We'll include that in our design. And then we will show this as a search bar, this bold.
And so here we're still playing with the time transitions, and what we're doing is we're trying to come up with a great way to use a guided tour, right? And I think we have a version during this that when you're looking at the guided tour, it kind of shows you, it highlights the different sections that you could be looking at and brings focus to that for people. And it's true, in the chat, I have fired Michael at least 3 times, minimum.
Oh my God. Fired?
Fired. Just straight up
gone.
Had him leave the studio. Unmiked and then sent him out.
Goodbye.
Just kidding. We all know that Michael is the best designer out of all of us. Another designer I love working with is Paul Tranny. Always a great designer to work with. And then obviously Talon and seeing Talon's work. So if you guys like seeing that kind of stuff, Adobe Live, they show up frequently, not just as guests, but also as hosts, to show you different ways to use, not just XD, but also Illustrator or Photoshop. I personally learn a lot when I see other people use programs I'm not familiar with. Illustrator is a big one for us. And Talon is live with us most Fridays at 12 PST, which is great because I think there's a lot of tips and tricks with XD that he's mastered. As someone who designs exclusively on XD, that we really get the chance to learn from someone who is the core designer of that product. And how cool is that? How many times do you get to say that you get to learn from someone who made it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just realized I could do something cool with the time transition.
Yes.
So it's very small, but I think it's pretty interesting. So we're gonna grab the UI kit, and you kind of want to show that you're able to scroll through these. I just got really excited. Sorry. Through these events near you, like to the left of the screen. So what I'm gonna do is, I just thought of this. It's like, whoa. Sorry. You could have this arrow here as the icon. Make this larger. And then I'll make it white. And I'm gonna get rid of this. it do this, and then do this. It's kind of like video editing too.
Right. It's like frame by frame design.
Yeah. I just want to test it out. I want to prototype this. Go here, and then instead of 0.4 seconds, we're gonna make it like pretty short, so like 0.2, going back and forth.
Right.
To show like it fading and fading out the arrow.
Right.
So like if we do that, wait.
Osama says that he loves video editing, which is off topic but worth mentioning.
Oh, I love video editing. Oh my God.
It's cool.
So much fun.
It's totally different from UX design, but when we get to apply the same kind of transitions and effects to UX, I think there's a lot that you can do.
Right?
And so here it's almost frame by frame editing of like what it would feel like.
Okay, wait. Let me, is this, I think it's like confusing the purple with the actual artboard.
Oh, I see.
So let me, oh, here we go. Time, perfect. Time. Oh, there we go, see, yeah. Time, 0.2. 0.2, okay.
Yes, it blinked a little bit, it flickered.
So maybe like a longer transition instead of, because that was like super quick.
Right. And so for those of you who are, you know, wondering what's happening, where you're making different versions of the same artboard.
We're just having fun.
We're having a good time. We are taking the time transitions and using time transitions as a ways to introduce animation in a so that we wouldn't have to open, say, After Effects, etc. And Crystal is asking, do you use video editing to construct mock-ups for your clients to view your prototypes?
Yes, After Effects.
Oh, so you do use After Effects.
Yes, we get crazy with it. We like show like, yeah, it's good to use this prototyping part of Adobe XD, but then if there are some limits that you want to show like a swipe or like some other movement with your app, then Adobe XD is like the perfect application to use to show that.
Right. And I think a lot of times the way that I use it is I actually use the prototype directly. There's a link that you can use to share in Adobe XD, and you can share that link directly with other people.
Yes, that too.
If you just want to like quickly prototype something and share it with a larger team. So I work with a team of about 50 or 60 developers, and that's a great way to kind of show them like, hey, here's the animation I was roughly thinking of, or here's a transition of what I was expecting.
Yes. So if we go here, search bar, new events.
Wow. And it goes next.
Next. And then it should go to the Got It page. So we'll get rid of this and then just have a button. I don't know what happened to that screen. I think I deleted it.
Probably by accident. It's okay.
But we could quickly make it since we have time.
And Tim brings up a great point that you can share public or private links, and you can even add a password for extra security. I think that's a big part for a lot of designers, that they feel like they can't share things behind NDAs, or they're like being very cautious with their clients, as they should be. We should be respectful of our clients' confidentiality agreements. But if that's a problem, that the XD team has already thought about that. So when you share a link, you're able to put a password on it, so that only people who are intended to see the link can see it. All right, should we show them?
Yeah, I just want to show this really quick. And then, do you think, like for you, like it's better to show it going to the right or to the left? Because you're swiping to the left, but you're telling them to look more.
I think if I had more time, I would have it bounce, the row bounce, but that would be so hard. That would be so hard. Not on AE.
Okay.
I think what you have is fine, having it go to the right.
Oh, cool. So, search bar, new events.
Yes.
Yay. Oh, and then the
we gotta hook it up to the Got It.
Yes. Oh my God. Did I just do that, you guys?
Yes.
I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Hello. Okay. Bam, 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 bam.
Got it.
Got it. Cool. Oh my God. Yay.
You did it.
We did it. I love it. Oh my gosh.
All right,
Sweet.
guys. Thank you so much for taking this time with us. And so remember that this is only part 2 out of our 3 days. We're going to have more tomorrow. Kevin's going to come with a different makeup, different lipstick color.
I should go all glam out.
Yes.
I don't know.
Be prepared. Hold on to your butts.
Making the appointment right now.
Yes.
No,
You got to use Anne's app to make the appointment.
Oh my God.
There you go.
I know, I do.
And we'll be live again tomorrow from 12 to 2 p.m. EST. So tune in then and see the rest of Kevin's app come out.
Yep, and let us know who has the better lipstick. Me or Jeannie.
It's definitely him. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. See you later.